guys, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am super excited to be joining my friend Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life for her 30 days of sketches for the month of May. And so this is the sketch for day 1, and this is going to be super fun, you guys. So hopefully you will also play along. On the title slide, I left a hashtag that we are using on Instagram to keep track of everybody's layouts. So I would love to see what you are creating with the sketches as well. So for today, I had in the sketch, there are 3 pictures. And so I have these 3 pictures of my kids and one of their cousins. We rented a cabin up in the woods and just kind of had like a relaxing weekend of play in the woods and explore and build forts and hang out together. And it was super awesome. And so these 3 photos came from that particular weekend trip. And I cut them down to a 3x3 size. And so I'm going to stay kind of true to this sketch in terms of my photo placement. And then when I start adding paper layers and embellishments, it goes a little bit away from the sketch itself. But some of the design elements are still there. So I love being able to take a sketch and kind of using as a jumping off point and then kind of go from there to make it my own. And so I have my 3 photos and I back them with some white cardstock to help them stand out. And I have them on this kind of green geometric background paper, and it is from Jen Hatfield's Along the Way collection. And now I'm going to layer up a bunch of paper, and a lot of these are from Pink Fresh Studio Escape the Ordinary. And so I'm kind of going with the khaki, burnt orange, yellowish types of color scheme, mainly because one of my sons is wearing burnt orange and one of my sons is wearing mustard yellow. So that made it kind of easy to pick a color combo. And then I really like that kind of pop of blue in the pattern paper there on the left because all the kids are wearing jeans in the pictures and that just kind of gives me another color that I can pull in. I want to use a couple of these little squares, and so I'm going to add those to where I am planning on my 2 major embellishment clusters being. So if you look at the sketch, there is one embellishment cluster kind of over on the right-hand side by the title, and then there's one by the photos off on the left-hand side. And so that's where I'm going to start building from. So I'm going to start with those 2 little squares, and I have all my pattern paper layers, and then I'm just going to start building from there. Now I know that I want this kind of khaki color paper to be a little bit smaller because I don't need it sticking out a ton. And so I'm going to cut that down, and then I do have some additional paper layers I added over on the left that were not necessarily in the sketch. But in the sketch, there is some journaling underneath that first photo, and this pattern paper has some natural lines to it, and so I thought that would be a perfect spot for me to go ahead and do my journaling. So it works. And it's not exactly like the sketch, but it's close enough. And it also gives me the lightest color on my layout, which kind of pulls your focus to that first picture, which is the only one that has my son actually looking at the camera. So that's a good place to have your focus kind of pointed. I am going to arrange my embellishments, those puffy stickers you see up at the top, in a diagonal pattern that's also going to pull you through that second photo. And your eye kind of automatically travels to that one just because she has a little pink jacket on, and there is definitely no pink in this layout. But it's a layout for one of my son's albums, so that's okay. We don't need pink. I do have a couple of those little leaves I've stuck in there, and I'm adding some die cuts, and these are all just leftovers from that Escape the Ordinary collection, and I've played with this collection for a while. I've had it for quite some time, so I'm not too concerned about using some of those things up. And so now what I decide I'm going to do is kind of go with a diagonal with all of these triangles, and this is definitely not part of the sketch, although there is a little bit of detail up there in the top, which is kind of where I started the inspiration for this from. And I want them to go on the diagonal through that photo in the middle. So I'm adding kind of 3 separate little clusters that are going to have some spaces in between, and I'm just using all of these puffy sticker triangles. So these triangles are really cool because they come apart, and there's 3 different sizes built into each one. So it's giving me a bunch of different sizes, and some of them are open and some of them are filled in. And so it's just kind of a fun little addition. When I decide to add these down here on the bottom to finish off that diagonal, it kind of makes me think in my head. So as I'm creating this, that the ones that say Brave and Wild need to move over a little further to the left so that I actually get a diagonal. So that's what I'm going to do next, is just move all of those over so that I have that true diagonal through that second photo. So I have a diagonal through my middle photo, and then I have embellishment clusters with the other two photos. So you kind of get that impression that I want you to see all three pictures. All three pictures kind of mean something in this particular case. So I'm going to add a few more of those little triangles. I'm going to get everything glued down. I did use some dimensional adhesive on a few of the die cuts just to create some additional layers and things, and you'll see that a little better in the close-ups. I am going to come back and still add in that title up where that title is in the sketch, and so that's why I kind of left that extra yellow space with it's like a leaf or a floral paper up there. I am going to put a title over the top of that. So I grabbed these black kind of epoxy letters, and I believe these are from Vicki Boutin, and there's one that just says The Simple Things, and so that is going to become my title because it's going to go along with my journaling. So really quickly, because I don't do my journaling on screen, it just says there's nothing better than renting a cabin up in the woods and letting you guys explore and have a blast with your cousins. Slowing down our pace of life and enjoying the simple things is good for the soul, to be sure. And so I kind of take that journaling and pull in my title, so it kind of all flows together and makes sense as to why I've added my title as The Simple Things. And then I just took a couple of these little like spirally black epoxy stickers and stuck them in each of the embellishment clusters to kind of tie in that shiny black look from the title that wasn't anywhere else. And that is basically going to do it for this layout. So it came together really quickly using that sketch, which is part of the reason why I absolutely love using sketches as a jumping off point. So I am super, super excited to work with Christy all month this month to show you all kinds of different ways that we interpret sketches. Do make sure you stop by and check out her channel as well, and I'll see you soon. Bye!